I'm here visiting my friend Lady Cara Willoughby and her spectacular house, Birdsall House, here in Yorkshire. I'm very interested to learn more about the history of the house, but I can also hear some work that's going on right there. So I'm sure Cara is going to fill me in on her latest project. When I married into the British aristocracy, it was the start of a wonderfully exciting journey. But it was also a little daunting. I became a Viscountess, and for an American girl from a small town outside Chicago, that was quite a shock.
I live with my husband Luke, heir to the Earl of Sandwich, and our family at Mapperton House in Dorset.
Living in a place like this is a joy, but also a challenge. And every day we're aware that we're preserving a very special part of Britain's heritage. Mapperton has opened up an extraordinary new world for me, and I can't wait to share it with you all.
So if you love castles and manors and stately homes as much as I do, please join this American Viscountess as I journey into the British countryside in search of some of Britain's finest historic houses.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to the drawing room here at Mapperton. Every single family living in a historic house really does aim to balance that modern family life with the responsibility, though, of preserving a historic building for the future. I recently visited my dear friend Cara Willoughby at her family home, Birdsall House in Yorkshire, where history is literally helping breathe new life into their house. Hello! Oh my goodness! It's so amazing to be here, and this weather.
No, it's always like this in Yorkshire.
Somehow. All right, I do believe you. Oh, okay. Can I just say, Cara, first and foremost, walking down the drive to here, this house is spectacular. Then the windows are just huge. The windows are just vast.
We're so lucky we've got so much light coming into this house.
Yeah.
So this is the main start of the house. It was built in 1540s and it was smaller and darker.
Okay.
And then 200 years later, they made it look Georgian. So it's the look that it's got now with the big windows.
I see. So this is what I love about these historic houses, because you think, oh, it's a Georgian house, and then you find out it's actually Tudor.
So it was started after
right.
the dissolution of the monasteries
Yes.
with Henry VIII. And then the Sotheby family from the auction house, they bought the land, and they built a house in the 1540s, which was much smaller. And then in 1720s, the Willoughbys bought in and married the daughter.
Ah,
and
good marriage.
Good marriage. They
So
had the money. She had the house, and they brought a lot of money in, and that's when they made it look much more Georgian in appearance. And they added wings. And
right. So what do you call this room?
This is the long hall.
This is the long hall. Yeah. Brilliant.
Two big fireplaces, and therefore probably was 3 rooms once upon a time.
When I was walking in, obviously it is vast. You've just said that this is sort of the original part, and then it was added on, because there's almost like 2 different wings on either side.
Yeah, so one wing was 1775, 1800, and that has the oval room and the ballroom in it. And then we've got the dining room was added in 1873.
Right.
That side.
Okay.
So luckily they built it all looking the same, with the same look. Rather than making it very Georgian and then very Victorian. So it ends up looking very symmetrical now.
Yes, it does. I mean, it's beautiful. So you have a ballroom.
We do. Could you go and find it?
I want to see your ballroom.
So we have an unbroken line of portraits from 1570s. So we can tell everyone who they are and who they're all painted by. All the way down. Unbroken.
What? Unbroken?
Yeah.
You're kidding me. Okay, so who do you want to start with first? I don't even know where to begin. Where do you begin? when you have this many ancestors hanging on the wall.
The ones that, the oldest ones are through there.
Incredible.
The whole lot.
All Willoughbys.
All Willoughbys.
Willoughbys.
But I love the fact that this is just a younger son. They couldn't be bothered to work out who it was.
That's brilliant. A younger son. Oh, those poor younger sons. They were never really given much thought, were they? So this is spectacular.
So this is the oval room, and these are the oldest portraits. So
Okay.
this is Elizabeth Willoughby.
Right.
And her husband, Francis Willoughby. Sir Francis Willoughby.
Okay.
And they built a huge family home called Woollerton Hall in Nottingham. That's where the main family home was.
Okay. So the Willoughbys technically come
From Nottinghamshire.
From Nottinghamshire.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it was a younger son that married the daughter, the Sotheby daughter.
Right. I see.
So this
and then you ended up here.
So the main house was sold in 1923 due to double death duties. So we don't have that anymore, but then that was, and many other estates were sold, and then we've ended up here.
Right.
Yeah.
The double death duties.
Yeah, 80%.
80%.
So it's big.
Unbelievable.
It's big, especially when you just lost the people whose death caused the death duties. You just lost them in the war, so they
Right.
gave their lives, and yet you were still taxed on it. So it's a bit of a double blow. But that's what happens. So.
That's
everybody.
what, yeah, in order to help pay for the wars.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So what was that house called? The
Woollerton
original
Hall.
They built that. These two
guys built it. They made their
right.
money on coal. Started off about 1200s. Made their money on coal, and that's how they built Woollerton. Interestingly, he was brought up by his maternal uncle, who was the father of Lady Jane Grey, the 9-day queen. So they were brought up together as brother and sister, although they were first cousins. And then, obviously, when Lady Jane Grey was put on the throne, the Willoughbys went slightly out of favour once she lost her head.
Right. Right.
So that didn't work
Oh my goodness.
so well for them.
I think
so
he's
then
quite
he
handsome.
I think he looks really mean.
No, I don't know. There's something. I don't know.
No, I don't think he was a very nice man.
Oh, okay.
I think he was a bit of a meanie.
Oh dear. Okay. Whoops.
But they had 8 daughters. So suddenly it was like, oh no, what do we do? So their eldest daughter was called Bridget, who's over there, and she took on the house, and she married her second cousin, who was the legitimate heir because girls couldn't,
Of course,
inherit. So the couple opposite are the two who took over the house. So then it goes down and down.
And then it goes down and down. Oh my goodness. They're lovely portraits though. They're in brilliant condition, I have to say. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like him.
I like her. I think she looks more fun. Well, she's got good clothes.
She does this, yeah. And she has brilliant clothes. I mean, look at that. It's completely embellished. I mean,
I think her daughters fought over her clothing when she died because it was so covered in jewels.
Well, I would too.
Yeah.
So oval room.
Oval room.
Yep.
And then ballroom.
And oh my goodness. This is like a proper ballroom. Okay, do you use this room?
We do, not for balls.
Yeah.
But we do. Yeah. Nowadays we use it for
What?
weddings.
What do you mean you're not having ballroom dances in here?
So these are gasoliers. So Birdsall made its own gas from coal pits because that's how the family made their money.
Right.
And then the gas was pumped up to the house, which you can see the vents in the ceiling.
Yes.
And then these are all gasoliers, which is why their height is such that. So it's one of the first private houses to have gas-lit rooms. Which makes it must have been amazing after candlelight.
Exactly. Yeah. And they all working.
No, they're electric now.
Oh, right. I was really going to be impressed.
Definitely
Cara.
electric.
I was like, that's super impressive that you're still able to do this. It's like, wow.
So we now do events here, and part of those events we do weddings here. So we'll do about 15 weddings a year, and these rooms are used for wedding breakfasts, or they're used for concerts. We have classical concerts in here throughout the year. We've got a play going on around the gardens at the moment, so they'll be using it. So it's used for all sorts of different things.
Oh my goodness, wasn't that ballroom absolutely spectacular? I mean, the atmosphere and those wonderful, wonderful windows flooding the room with light, it was amazing. And I felt as if I was stepping into a historical novel, which frankly isn't too far from the truth. This wonderful, look at these portraits, are stunning.
This lady is interesting because she is the great aunt of Jane Austen. And Jane Austen's mother was called Cassandra after her. Jane Austen's sister's called Cassandra after her. She was Cassandra Willoughby. And the names of Willoughby and Middleton in their Sense and Sensibility are from this family.
Are from this family? Oh my goodness. So that's Jane Austen's great aunt. And do we know if they were close? Did they have a relationship?
So she married the Duke of Chandos, and I think it was always seen to be, you know, wanted to, in those days, sort of go up. So they were named after her because she was the Duchess of Chandos, and you know, therefore seen. And she was quite a society figure. She was also incredible at keeping documents and writings on how life worked at that time.
She's incredibly glamorous, though, too. I mean, I think she's strikingly beautiful. But very. Have you had any Jane Austen films here? Because when I was walking down, I actually felt like I was stepping into a period drama.
It'd be great, though, wouldn't it?
Well, yes.
A quick Sense Sensibility in the home of Mr. Willoughby.
We really need to get a Jane Austen Hollywood film here, that's for sure. I mean, wonderful, absolutely stunning. But I've only walked through really 3 rooms, but the upkeep, though, I mean, this is a vast house. I know it's been built on, as you explained, but the upkeep is...
It is.
And it's your private home. And I know you have children, you know, and this is a lot.
But it's a private home, but it's an office. I mean, it's a business. We've all got to, you know what it's like.
I know.
mean, you live and work above the shop, in the shop, round the shop. It works around you, and you sacrifice quite a lot of your life for it. But you've got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep the show on the road.
You've got to keep the show on the road, and you have so far. I mean, it's really spectacular. So here at Mapperton, much of the contents and the furniture actually comes from the original family ancestral seat, Hinchingbrook House, which had been in the family for over 350 years. It was the home of the Earls of Sandwich, but unfortunately, it was sold in the 1950s. And the same thing happened to the Willoughby family. After the First World War, Birdsall House became the main Willoughby family residence when Middleton Hall and Woollerton Hall were both sold. However, many of the pieces at Birdsall were brought from both of those family houses, and one of those treasures is absolutely stunning. Cara, this 4-poster bed is magnificent.
Yeah, it's good.
Do people sleep in this bed?
Yeah, definitely. No, this is from Woollerton, the house that the family used to own, the main big house in Nottingham, and so that's why it's so big. But it's by Chippendale. So it's a very big bed with all the original pelmets on it.
Oh my
so it's
goodness!
Beautiful.
It is
beautiful work, isn't it?
Exquisite. So this dates back to
late 1700s.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the fabric is wonderful as well.
Yeah, that's all original, which is, aren't we lucky?
Lucky. So again, so when Woollerton was sold, you were able to gather a lot of the contents.
Well,
is
I think
that right?
if the family didn't keep it, it was sold. Full stop. So that included the pelmets. We've got the pelmets in this room.
Yeah.
Everything, absolutely everything. It was stripped out and sold because they had to raise money for 80% of their estates.
Of the estate, because they were double death duty taxed,
Exactly.
all that.
So that's why we've got these enormous cupboards, which almost look out of proportion in comparison to the house, but that's because Woollerton was a much, much bigger house.
Amazing. So you have Americans who come and stay here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they just love it, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm an American, and I love
but
that.
But this is old England, isn't it? Suddenly.
It is. This is like when I walked into this room, you know, obviously my eye was drawn to the 4-poster bed, but this is England right here. This is history.
But it hasn't changed. Also, it really has not changed for hundreds of years.
Yeah. We receive so many comments saying that our productions are of such high quality, and that is because we are supported by our amazing American Viscountess patrons. We are a small team, but we put our heart and soul into these episodes to make sure that they are at the highest standard they can possibly be. And we would really appreciate it if you would just check out patreon.com/American Viscountess just to see a little bit more about what we do, to perhaps be a part of the community. And here you'll get the episodes ad-free a few days early. Plus, there are American Viscountess merchandise, and it's a wonderful community of people like me who love historic houses, and we all are able to celebrate these houses and the living history together. So do check it out so that we can continue to make these incredible and very important historic house episodes.
Can you come?
I feel like I'm coming into, obviously, the private part of the house, if you like, but incredible kitchen. I do remember something. So obviously, because we're both part of historic houses, and there's all these awards that happen, and I remember, I'm sure you won the kitchen award.
Yeah, in 2019 we won the kitchen award. Yeah.
Right, I remember.
So they started it all up because the first thing that many generations do now, many family members do when they take over the house, is put in a new kitchen because they're so family based. They want, you know, space for the whole family to be in one room. They don't have the staff they used to. So now they wanted to have a prize for innovative putting kitchens into these big old houses.
This is incredible though, because I walked from that, you know, historic looking part of the house into, again, this is still the historic part of the house, but you've modernized it and made it much more, you know, family center, heartbeat.
Yeah, but this is where we live. I mean, we live in a massive house, but we actually all live in one room.
Right.
Ironically.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 children, 3 dogs. You know, we all live here. This is home. This is the beating heart.
Yeah, and it's wonderful just to see the difference and really how these houses have evolved.
Yeah.
And we're much more relaxed now.
Yeah. When this house was running at its best in about sort of 1870s, they had 17 house staff, 20 gardeners, grooms, goodness knows what else, 2 walled gardens, 5 acres of glass houses. You know, it's incredible. Now, none of that.
No, right, that's exactly right. None of that. And I actually prefer it. Yes, please. Thank you. I actually just prefer it like that because it keeps me busy.
Yeah, totally.
I
can just sat for hours doing needlepoint.
Yeah.
Can you bored?
So you did this project. Obviously, this will be, I always think of it as like a legacy, you know, as you are the...
What are we going to leave behind for our generation?
Exactly.
So we had the Victorian kitchens that were downstairs. Then after the Second World War, they stopped being used. And when there were many less staff, there became 1 cook and 1 housekeeper. And they used these kitchens from the 1950s. So this was 6 different rooms, which we've knocked right way through to make this kitchen. So it had to be somewhere that we, you know, lost a little bit of the old history, but in doing so made a bit of the next history.
Well, that's perfectly put. And also, look at this view here as well. I mean, this is just a wonderful, amazing, unspoilt view of your garden and just of the landscape.
We're really lucky it doesn't have anything that has been built in the last however many hundred years.
Yeah.
So there's nothing's changed. And you can imagine this, when Capability Brown designed it, you can imagine that it looked almost similar to what it does.
Right, and that's what's incredible at Capability Brown. I mean, that you are looking out to Capability Brown design right here.
Yeah.
I mean, wonderful.
I do wake up every morning and appreciate my view. It's not something that gets lost on me.
It's incredible. Every day, as historic homeowners, we do respect the past life of these wonderful, wonderful buildings, but also recognize a need to adapt them for modern life. And at Birdsall, Cara and her husband James have taken care to both preserve and modernize.
we only have about 15 weddings, as I said, but they need somewhere to dance in the evenings. At the moment, they're dancing in a marquee because if they dance in the house, there'll be damage, and we don't want that to happen. So what we're doing is we're turning the Victorian kitchens into a evening event space. So it creates a whole nother entity for us.
That is fantastic, because before you said they had their wedding breakfast in the oval room and the ballroom, but then they would dance in a marquee. Is that right?
Exactly.
Now you're bringing everything in-house.
And I think when people want to look at a wedding in a house like this, and they want the historic surroundings, they could have a marquee anywhere in a field, wherever they wanted. They want something that's all unique and on site.
I do visit a lot of historic houses just so I can sort of meet the owners, and also get some ideas and of course look at the history, but I think more importantly, we are living in houses that have become our business. We're living above the shop.
Yep.
So I always remind people when they say, oh, your house is amazing, Mapperton, it's beautiful. I'm like, well, it is, but it's also a business. In order to restore the tapestries or repair for the roof and to make sure that the stonework is done correctly in the windows, usually for most of us, it's about opening up the house in some sort of way.
So downstairs is totally, you'll see it is, there's nothing in there, it's just the shell. But it was damp and it was in need of a lot of restoration. So if we can then develop it, use it, pay off what we've borrowed to make it work, and then after that we've got an area of the house that wasn't used and is now being used.
Yes.
If our son wants to change that in future years, then that's fine. But we've done what we need to do this generation to ensure that another bit of the house stays viable.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And this is, this is a vast house. And as you said, those two wings were added on. There's a lot of work that goes into this.
Yeah, but I think the family, when they were in sort of 1870s, when they were running at their best, they had parents, 13 children, 17 house staff, so you're constantly got, in your 30s of number of people in here without any guests. So it was running as a big ship. Right,
it was running, you're just running it as a slightly bigger ship, really, with weddings.
With less staff.
That's right, and that's why these houses...
We've got to adapt to this world and adapt to how we can run them, because we can't run them in the way that they were built.
No.
So we have to run them in the way that we can manage in today's age.
It's perfectly put. Well, cheers to that. To my lovely Birdsall mug. Can I buy one of these?
You can have one of them.
Okay, thank you. It'll be my souvenir. Well, I could not wait to explore downstairs, where the Victorian kitchens once were, and where Birdsall next chapter is literally coming to life. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm obsessed with these, the bells. This is one of the best ones I've ever seen.
So we've got 3 sets of bells, and each bell has a different tone, so that if the guests were in the evening drawing room or the morning drawing room or the library or the billiard room, then the member of staff would know exactly which room they were in and which room was calling them from the tone of the bell.
This is like another world, another time that I love. I mean, listen, I'll be honest, me as the American, and I think many people though, visiting these historic houses, we love this upstairs, downstairs that used to exist. And we've obviously all evolved because there is no downstairs anymore.
No, well this was last used after the Second World War.
Okay, so give me a little bit of history. We're downstairs. This is
the old kitchen.
Right.
Those are the 2 different oven sets. There's a big range that's gone off to be restored. This is the old warming oven going through to the servants' hall. We've got a clock, Victorian clock up there, which is going to be restored. And all the hooks and everything are on here. And this is going to be our dance floor with a glitter ball.
Oh my gosh, I love your glitter ball.
That's great.
It's amazing.
Ball, isn't it?
This is amazing.
So now, okay, I see you've got the plans out. Has anybody done this before as far as converting? I mean, you've got a huge downstairs space. I mean, this is massive. This is what we all think about when you've got the upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah.
This is enormous.
Yeah, I think other people have done it, and certainly the Historic House have put us in touch with a couple that we've been to see.
Right,
they haven't been quite like this, as in the amount of space, but aim big or go home.
Aim big. Okay, so walk me through this. Oh my gosh, this is incredible.
So we've got a new entrance so that guests can leave the house completely or come in completely separately, and that comes into the old pantry and old sinks area, which we'll see in a minute, and we've then got a big dance floor.
We're in the dance floor area right now.
Yeah.
With the large glitter ball with a motor.
It's got to go round.
It's brilliant. Fantastic.
Then we've got the cook's room next door.
Okay.
Where the cook had her organisational room and her desk and things like that, the old original head cook. We've got staff cloakrooms, which used to be carpenters' offices. We've got the old servants' hall, which is a really big sitting out area for new guests.
Right.
And a new bar is going into a room adjacent to that. Then we've got an area for eating in the evening, so we can put out a buffet that people can
pizza, whatever with it. Yeah, late night snacks.
Exactly
yes,
that.
yes.
And a cocktail bar, so they can go and have cocktails there. So it's going to be good.
Unbelievable.
It's a big project.
It's a big project. So what are you doing as far as aesthetically with the look of it? Because
we're trying to keep it very much like the old kitchens. We're trying to keep the atmosphere.
Right, and you said you're restoring that.
Restoring the old ovens.
Right.
They're all off. That's all the soot still from all
That's the soot.
hundreds of years of
So this
cooking.
is not paint?
No, that's not paint, that is soot.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my, so what will you do with this then?
Probably take it off because it's going to get on people's clothes. And so it's not going to be very friendly for people. But we could paint it black, but actually underneath is really nice old stone. So I think we'll keep that. We'll just brush it back.
So this is the cook's room through here, is that right?
So this is where the head cook used to live. She probably had all her ingredients in here and things like that.
This entire sort of cabinet, chest of drawers, whatever you want to call it, dresser, this will stay.
This will stay, and actually these are the shelves from this side, but there was such loose plaster behind them that they were loose. So the plaster's come off, and then those are going back on the wall, just so that you can see there it's getting loose behind it, and we just need to make sure that it's all really solid. And then this one is actually lowering a bit and turning into seating for guests. So everything's going to be done up, not beautifully. The whole point is not properly shiny. It's in working order and solid and secure. So it's got all the old plates, all the old enamelware I've got will all go up on the shelves.
So head chef was in here. It's big space for a head chef. Do you think so?
I think she's got quite a small desk, and then she probably had, lots of stuff in here.
So she's doing all of her recipes here.
Yep.
Exactly. All the recipes here.
Exactly.
And what do you think she would have kept in these drawers? Just curious.
I don't know, but I mean, butler's instruments and, all those sort of things. I mean, sure, it's probably full of candlesticks and probably not silver because they were kept in the silver room, but all the stuff you need to run a kitchen.
Incredible. This is unbelievable. All right, where to next?
Let's go down to the old servants' hall.
Okay, fantastic. This is, I'm trying to feel the energy of what it would have been like.
Shops down there, and then in here we've got the servants' hall, which is the food would come in from the corner, straight from the ovens. This is the original table that they all sat at. And they all had their meals and chatted away in here.
When you were, did you have to clear out quite a bit of bits?
Yes, it's been used as storage for ages.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I did look at the plans, but remind me, I'm here at a wedding, and now where am I?
This is going to be the seating area. So you're going to have sofas.
Hang out.
Sofas, banquette seating, low lighting, quite gentleman's club.
Right, yes.
And then this is going to be the bar.
And this is going to be the
bar.
bar.
So we've got a semicircular bar, and it's all going to be...
Right. And I have just spotted, because my beady little eye has spotted more bells.
More bells. So these are coming out, these white things coming out.
Right.
But then you've got number 17A, housekeeper's room, dining room. These are slightly more back of house actually than,
Yes, that's what I saw.
than that set.
You've got sitting room, bathroom, and dressing room.
But interestingly, they all make different noises. So always use a candle snuffer. We've got a small dining room,
Okay.
but then, for instance, what's that one? The sitting room. Yeah, makes a different tone to the dining room.
Oh yeah.
So that
So then they would get used to the sound. They would know that sound,
that tone was
that
theirs,
tone
and they
is-
were due upstairs.
And they were due upstairs.
Probably in the middle of their meal.
Yeah. You're probably right. The bells are obviously staying.
Obviously, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Everything that was part of the 1870s kitchen is staying.
So I
It's
wonder.
a big project, but
I'm
it's
just
gonna be
trying to
fun.
think if I have like a big birthday coming up, or if I can
You'll
like.
have to come back when it's finished.
I just need to think of what kind of party I want to have here.
Definitely.
All these ideas. I love it. I'm inviting myself to have have my own party here. It's amazing.
Let's go through to the pantry.
Okay. It's like a maze down here.
So these are old sinks along here. They're all bowed, so the water keeps going down. And then that's an old pantry.
What's
I think it's a cold store because it has
Right.
a huge, great sort of stone.
and I can
sink.
see the hooks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pestle
So-
mortar.
Oh my goodness! It's enormous. This is wow.
And then those
that's
are some
a
of the
keeper.
old storerooms where the vegetables used to come in and out every day from the wall gardens and then come in through to the kitchens.
Wow. So remind me where I am again now. This is a pantry. No.
Well, this is more of the sort of sinks area, isn't it? And then that's
Right.
an old steam oven. So it's a very early steam oven, so we're going to do that up. And then this will be the entrance hall for the event space.
I
so
see.
these windows are going to become doors. And then everyone will come in through here and with all the old plate racks and the old sinks and the old ovens. And then that'll give us, I've got some enamel signs, and it'll give us the feeling that we're actually in the old kitchens.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
It's incredible just to think that, 100 years ago, this was obviously in full use as a working kitchen, but you're able to then take this space, keep all of these important features, call it the old kitchens, and then it's evolved to where we are.
The next generation. But what we're lucky is that no one changed it in the middle, so that we have got the stuff from 150 years ago. Otherwise, it would be the old kitchens via the 70s, which would be a bit of a problem.
Yes, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. And then what about up here? I'm just looking at this.
Well, to be fair, the M&E guys, the mechanical and electrical guys, want that roof void to put all their stuff in. So I was going to make it into a vault, but I've been
But yeah, you've
battered
got it
down on that.
Yeah. You've
I've
got
kept some things compromised with
Yeah, it's
builders.
a compromise. It's a compromise.
But
really,
these are all staying.
These are all staying.
Yeah.
Look at these. These are amazing.
But they must have been quite short
sinks.
because they're quite low.
Yeah,
You can
they
actually
are.
break your back
Yeah,
if you were
you're
trying to do
right.
that all the time.
You're right.
But, yeah.
So, okay, entrance hall. So this will be, in one sense, the brick comes out there to create the doors.
Yeah, the doors are
entrance
literally
doors.
are going to be very wide doors, so they're going to be exactly
Wonderful.
what they are now.
And look at that lovely beam up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're keeping all the brick where it's brickwork, we're keeping it as brick.
Yeah.
Where it's painted, we'll keep it as paint. So it's going to look pretty rustic down here.
And I
It's
like
still-
that green color.
Yeah, that's the colour that's going all over.
That's
Yeah.
When you mentioned the green color back there, that's a really
going all
lovely
over.
green color. I mean, Cara, this is, and I know I keep saying it over and over again, but it's a tremendous
You have to come back.
project. I'm just trying to think: are you hiring? Because I really want to be a part of this job. There's
How good are your skills?
Excellent. I'm really, really good at. I'm a very good decorator.
Okay.
So I could do the green paint.
Yeah, you're on.
Oh my goodness, the transformation that is taking place downstairs at Birdsall is absolutely breathtaking. History is really being brought to life. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed this wonderful, wonderful visit to Birdsall House. Until next time, bye everybody.